In our world today, life often feels like a race we never signed up for. The notifications on our phones are constantly buzzing, the deadlines at work are always looming. We find ourselves running, chasing, worrying. Do we ever stop to ask where we are going? In this fast paced journey, we all need a guide, a friend, a voice of wisdom to help us navigate. Imagine a friend with answers to life's biggest questions, whose advice is as relevant today as it was said 5,000 of years ago. That friend is Lord Kṛṣṇa. His timeless wisdom is a gift for all humanity. Kṛṣṇa is not just a figure from ancient scriptures. He is an ever-present guide for everyday life. His teachings, especially the Bhagavad Gita, aren't complicated texts only for scholars or monks. They are a practical manual for living a happy, purposeful, and peaceful life, right here, right now. Think of the Bhagavad Gita as life's amazing secrets, shared by the Supreme Person himself. He speaks about our duties, our fears, our relationships, and our ultimate purpose. Imagine you're holding a glass of water filled with mud. If you keep shaking the glass, the water will always remain cloudy and you will never be able to see through it. But what happens if you place the glass on a table and let it sit for a while? Slowly but surely, the mud settles at the bottom and the water becomes clear. Our mind is just like that glass of water. The constant worries, anxieties, distractions are the mud that keeps our mind cloudy and agitated. Kṛṣṇa teaches us that the first step to a better life is to find that stillness within, to let the mud of our troubles settle so we can see things clearly. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 7, Kṛṣṇa explains that for one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached, for he has attained tranquility. To him, happiness, distress, heat, cold, honor, dishonor are all the same. This is the state of equanimity. So how do we achieve this stillness? Kṛṣṇa gives us a very simple yet powerful tool, meditation. Now, meditation doesn't always mean sitting cross-legged on a mountain top for hours. It can be as simple as taking 5 minutes every morning to sit quietly and focus on your breath. Think of it as charging your internal battery. Just as your phone needs to be charged to function properly throughout the day, your mind needs to be charged with peace and positivity to handle life's challenges without getting drained. Many of us have a complicated relationship with our work. We often see it as a burden, a necessary evil we must endure to pay the bills. We drag ourselves out of bed on Monday mornings and count down the days until Friday. But what if we could transform our perspective? What if our office desk could become a sacred altar? What if our workshop could become a sacred altar? What if our kitchen could become a sacred altar? This is the revolutionary idea that Kṛṣṇa introduces with the principle of karma yoga, the yoga of action. He teaches us that it's not what you do as much as how and why you do it. Kṛṣṇa tells Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 9, work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way you will always remain free from bondage. This is a game-changing instruction. Imagine you are an accountant. Instead of just crunching numbers for a paycheck, you can think, I am doing this work with honesty and diligence as an offering to God. Let my integrity in this work please Him. Suddenly, the boring spreadsheet becomes a sacred text. Your meticulousness is no longer for pleasing your boss, but for connecting with the Supreme. Let's take a simple example. A street sweeper can practice karma yoga. While sweeping the streets, he can think, I am cleaning this space to make it beautiful and safe for others, and I am doing this as a service to the Lord who resides in everyone's heart. Our homes are meant to be our sanctuaries, places of love, comfort, and support. However, for many, they can become battlegrounds of misunderstandings, arguments, and unmet expectations. We often give our best selves to our colleagues and present a tired, irritable version to our families. Kṛṣṇa's teachings guide us on how to transform our homes back into havens by practicing dharma. Dharma in this context means fulfilling our duties and responsibilities to our loved ones with a sense of sacred purpose and unconditional love. It's about creating an atmosphere where every family member feels valued, respected, and cherished. It is about building a spiritual ecosystem within the four walls of our house. Krishna emphasizes the importance of selfless service and fulfilling one's prescribed duties. A key lesson from Krishna is to see the divine in everyone, and this should start at home. Your spouse, your parents, your children, they are not just your possessions or extensions of your ego. They are spiritual souls on their own unique journeys. When you remember this, your interactions change. Instead of trying to control them or force them to fit your expectations, you learn to serve them and support their well-being. Think about the simple act of listening. How often do we truly listen to our family members without interrupting or planning our response? Krishna is the supreme listener. He patiently listened to all of Arjuna's doubts and fears on the battlefield of Kurukshetra before speaking a single word of instruction. Friendships are honestly one of life's greatest treasures. They are the relationships we choose, the bonds that really sustain us through thick and thin. But even our friendships can sometimes be tainted by ego, competition, expectations. We might, for example, feel jealous of a friend's success, get hurt when they don't meet our needs. Krishna offers a beautiful way to elevate our friendships to a spiritual level. He teaches us to see the divine spark, a part and parcel of himself within every living being. In the Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 verse 30, he says, "For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost to him, nor is he ever lost to me." This vision, wow, it really transforms how we relate to our friends. When you start to see a spark of Krishna in your friend, your relationship honestly deepens. You're no longer just interacting with a personality, you're connecting with a soul. This helps you to be more patient and forgiving. Krishna himself was the perfect friend to Arjuna. He wasn't just a teacher, he was a confidant, a supporter, and a guide. We can definitely model our friendships on this divine example. We can be the friend who celebrates others' successes without envy. We can be the one who offers a listening ear without judgment. And honestly, this principle extends beyond our close circle. Krishna's teaching encourages us to cultivate a friendly disposition towards everyone we meet. The person serving you love, the colleague in the next cubicle, the stranger you pass on the street. Each one is a spiritual soul, a part of the same divine family. When we carry their conscience, our interactions become warmer and more meaningful. By practicing this one teaching, seeing Krishna in everyone, we can turn our entire world into a community of friends. The opening scene of the Bhagavad Gita is incredibly dramatic, deeply symbolic. Arjuna stands in his chariot between two massive armies ready for battle. He sees his cousins, he sees his teachers, he sees his relatives. His heart sinks, his bow slips from his hands. He is overcome with confusion, he is overcome with despair. He tells his charioteer, "Lord Krishna, he cannot fight." This is not just history, it's a metaphor for our lives. Each of us is Arjuna, standing on the battlefield of daily life, unsure what is right. The chariot is a powerful symbol. It represents the physical body. The horses are our senses. Sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. The reins represent the mind. Arjuna, the passenger, is the individual soul. The charioteer, Krishna, is divine wisdom, the super soul. Arjuna let the mind, the reins, go slack. His senses, the horses, ran wild. They were driven by attachment. They were driven by grief. He was overwhelmed and couldn't steer his life. This happens to us in a conflict at work, during a family crisis, after a personal failure. Our senses and mind overwhelm us. We get carried away by fear, by anger, by sadness. We lose clarity and feel paralyzed, just like Arjuna. We think, "This is too hard. I can't do this. I want to run away." Then we have a choice. Let the wild horses drag our chariot into a ditch, or turn to our divine charioteer for guidance. We can turn to wisdom, to prayer, to our inner conscience. Krishna guides, not forces. He didn't fight Arjuna's battle. He gave wisdom and clarity, so Arjuna could pick up his bow and fight with conviction. Krishna's teachings don't magically fix everything. They give inner strength and understanding to face challenges. He steadies the reins of our mind, helps us control our senses, and make choices aligned with our dharma. One of the most profound and practical teachings Krishna gives to Arjuna is about the art of detached action. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 47, he delivers this famous verse, You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. This single piece of advice holds the key to unlocking immense peace and freedom in our lives. It sounds a bit paradoxical at first. How can we work hard for something without being attached to the result? Will I get the promotion? Will my project be successful? Will they like the dinner I cooked? We become so fixated on the fruit of our labor that we cannot enjoy the process of laboring itself. Kṛṣṇa advises us to shift our focus. He asks us to pour all our energy, focus, and sincerity into the action itself, and then gracefully accept whatever result comes our way. It's like a skilled surgeon. He focuses entirely on performing the operation to the best of his ability, without being paralyzed by the anxiety of whether the patient will survive. His duty is to perform the surgery perfectly. The ultimate outcome is beyond his control. This principle of detachment does not mean being careless or indifferent. In fact, it's the opposite. When you are not stressed about the result, you can perform the action with much greater concentration and excellence. Your mind is calm and present, fully engaged in the task at hand. You do your best because doing your best is the goal itself, not because you are chasing a specific reward. This is true freedom in action. You are liberated from the emotional roller coaster of highs when you succeed and devastating lows when you fail. Let's apply this to a real-life situation. Imagine you are preparing for a job interview. The attached way is to obsess over getting the job, feeling immense pressure and anxiety. You research the company, practice your answers, choose your outfit with care. Your goal is to give the best interview you possibly can. Once you have done that, you let go. Whether you get the job or not is no longer the sole measure of your effort. You find satisfaction in knowing you did your part with full integrity. In our modern culture, we are often encouraged to think about me, myself, and I. What can I get? What's in it for me? How can I be number one? This constant focus on the self is a major source of unhappiness. It isolates us and puts us in constant competition with others. Kṛṣṇa gently guides us away from this egocentric life towards a God-centric life, a life of service or seva. He teaches us that true and lasting happiness is found not in accumulating for ourselves but in giving to others. The more we move beyond the limited concepts of I and mine, the more our hearts expand with joy and love. This spirit of service or seva is the practical application of seeing Kṛṣṇa everywhere. If we truly see the divine in others, our natural response will be to serve them. This service doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It can be found in the small, everyday moments. Helping a colleague who is struggling with a task without expecting anything in return. Offering your seat on the bus to an elderly person. Cooking a meal for a sick friend. Listening with your full attention when someone needs to talk. Each of these acts of selfless giving chips away at our own ego and connects us to a larger purpose. It shifts our focus from what can I get to what can I give. Kṛṣṇa explains that when we act in this spirit of service, our actions no longer create karmic bondage. When we do something for our own selfish gain, we become entangled in the results. But when we do the same action as a selfless service for the pleasure of the divine and for the benefit of others, that action becomes liberating. It purifies our heart and brings us closer to our true spiritual nature. Think of a mother caring for her child. She often serves tirelessly without thinking, what am I getting out of this? Her joy comes from the act of loving service itself. We can expand this motherly consciousness to include everyone. Cultivating a spirit of service is like opening the windows of a stuffy room. The fresh air of love, compassion, and connection rushes in, pushing out the stale air of selfishness and loneliness. You start to feel like a part of a beautiful, interconnected whole. Your personal problems seem smaller when you are focused on alleviating the problems of others. This is the secret joy of the devotee. They find happiness in Kṛṣṇa's happiness, and Kṛṣṇa is happy when his children are cared for. So, by serving others, we are directly serving and pleasing the Supreme, filling our own lives with profound meaning and joy. We have journeyed through some of the beautiful life-changing teachings of Lord Krishna. We've seen how his wisdom can bring peace to our busy minds, purpose to our daily work, love to our homes, depth to our friendships. We have learned about the art of detached action and the joy of selfless service. It might seem like a lot to take in, but remember, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. You don't have to become a perfect yogi overnight. Krishna does not expect perfection, he cherishes sincere effort. The path to a more joyful and meaningful life is not a sprint, it is a gentle, steady walk with a divine friend. So the question is, what will be your first step? You don't need to make a grand announcement or a dramatic life change. The most powerful transformations often begin with the smallest, most humble actions. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 26, "If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it." This beautiful verse shows us that the Lord is not interested in the size of our offering, but in the love and sincerity behind it. He's asking for a small gesture of connection, a simple turn of the heart towards Him. I want to extend a warm invitation to you today. Choose just one lesson from our discussion and try to apply it in your life, even just for one day. Perhaps you can try practicing karma yoga at your job right now. Perform each task as an offering with full focus and care without anxiously worrying about the outcome. Or maybe you can practice seeing Krishna in your family. Make a special effort to listen patiently to a loved one without interrupting. Or you could take 5 minutes in the morning for your glass of water moment. Sit in silence, chant a mantra, or say a simple prayer offering your day to the divine. This small step is your leaf, your flower. It is your personal offering of love. Observe how you feel. Notice the small shifts in your perspective, the little moments of peace that may have eluded you before. This is not just an experiment. It is the beginning of a conversation with the greatest friend you will ever have. Krishna's teachings are not just words on a page. They are a living, breathing source of strength and joy, waiting to transform your life from the inside out. Take that first small step today. You have nothing to lose and a world of peace, purpose, and love to gain. Subscribe now and uplift your soul with timeless wisdom.